Kelly O'Neill is going to join us. Kelly is a multimedia artist creating one-of-a-kind sculptures from recycled steel, accented with ceramics and fused glass. The steel finishes include powder coating and natural oxidized patina. I'm going to bring up her video right now. Let me pull up Kelly. Give me just 1 second. Hi, Kelly. Can you hear me?
Hi, I can. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Excellent.
Okay, we're pulling up your video right now.
Okay.
There we go. There you are. Okay, I'm going to let you take it away from here.
Well, welcome everyone. First, thank you so much for doing this for us. Us as an artist, I really appreciate your commitment to all you lovely ladies at the Guild. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. And to my cameraman, my son, Max Romero, he's going to be helping me out today. So I encourage you to ask questions and use the chat feature. Hopefully my husband will be able to call out some questions or some comments throughout the half hour, so that would be great. So thank you for that introduction. Yes, I am a metal artist. I have been doing this for 6 years and full-time for 2. I consider myself almost an emerging artist. So my work continues to evolve and change. If you want to hear the whole story, you can visit my website at fusionofironearth.com. And there you'll be able to find additional videos. You'll be able to find where I'm going to be exhibited or the next shows I'm going to be participating in. So today I thought what I would do is something a little different. I'm going to just focus on one series so that you get a better idea of my process and how I create my art. So first, I am definitely a contemporary abstract artist. My art is very intuitive. My creation process is very much a flow. And hopefully you'll get that when you see me put a piece together later. So I will be demonstrating and doing a welding demonstration. So I hope you'll enjoy that. So for example, the series I'm going to talk about today actually started with this half circle. So I was scavenging for metal, and there was a sheet of these half circles, and they were all attached. Think of it like almost like a fish scale pattern. And what was left was this from whatever someone was cutting out for some sort of machine part of some sort. And so this was my inspiration, and I cut these down to 55 of them. So what I did was create this body of work from these behind me. And so it starts with the fabrication process. So I'll sketch first, and then once I've sketched, I will collect the metal that I need for the piece, the inspiration, and I'll try to form it and create kind of a 3D model with my hands. And then once I feel good about it, then I will start fabricating the metal. And that includes sandblasting, which gets all the oils or the scale off of it, grinding to get some rust off of it. Then I will cut it, bend it, shear it, whatever I need to do, and then weld the piece together. And then the final process would be the finishes. So either it's a powder coat or a paint or that natural patina, that rusting process, which I really love. And then everything is sealed with a final finish, either satin or gloss. So what I'm going to share with you today is kind of what I did. So the first piece was this piece here. I call it Caterpillar. And what I really liked about this was the repetitive nature of the half circle. I like to celebrate the shapes that I find. And then this was finished with a really pretty blue. And then I highlighted it with an ombre using a purple automotive paint. And then I did a couple of wall pieces. Again, just playing around with the shapes. And the circle and half circle on top of a half circle in this piece here. This is one of my moon series. This is another one of my moon series. And they can hang both horizontally and vertically. For example, this one is 100% powder coated. And this particular one, you can see the wrought iron that I used, I left it natural and then grinded it down to show some of the shiny steel. And then of course did a final satin finish on that. So this one I actually have sold to my friend, and I'll be delivering that in Minnesota, hopefully this summer. And then I had a few of the pieces left, and I was just playing around with them, and I kind of put them together, and they kind of looked like a face. So I went ahead and I made a couple of these sculptures. This one I call Strike a Pose. And this is the first time that I used oil paint on steel. And that was a great discovery of mine as far as artistic expression. The bases in this piece, as well as this piece over here called Flaminga, are powder coated. And then the faces and the arms and the hair and the fingers and so forth are painted with oil paint. So I have enough of these pieces left today that I am going to demonstrate making another moon. So why don't you follow me into my studio? So come on and join me. So this is my studio. It's really just the part of my garage. So over on this side is where I've collected all of my metal. And my metal I get from salvage yards, as well. A lot of people donate metal to me, which is wonderful, and I appreciate that. Here's my welding table where I weld on, and then my welder back here. And I also mentioned that I enhance my pieces of ceramics and glass. So over on this side of my shop is my ceramic studio. My kiln, my slab roller. Here's all of my glazes and my clay, and then all of my tools and my wheel are over. And I've got some beautiful natural light, which is very inspiring. So let's get started. So this is what we're going to make today. This is the sketch that I drew. So you can see the half circles in there. And I started with the half circles, but then collected the additional metal that I thought I was going to need. So for example, this is the bar stock. And this is kind of what it looks like after I've cut it, right? And then, of course, I would take the bar stock and then I'd put it through the bender. Now, I did all of this fabrication for this piece at Schoolcraft College. I knew they were going to close down because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So I kind of planned in advance so that I'd have plenty to do here at home. And then the rod starts looking just like a straight rod like this. And of course, I put that in the bender to create some fun circles. And a lot of people ask me how I get those oblong shapes. And so this is a standard pipe. And then I will use a horizontal saw on a 45-degree angle and then cut this. And then the standard pipes create beautiful circles too, where I'll just cut those on the horizontal saw. I mentioned earlier a plasma drop, and a lot of you probably don't know what that is. So I have an example I want to share with you. So here's a plasma drop. So this I found at a scrapyard, and I have a bunch of other pieces like this too. And so this egg-shaped piece, or avocado, kind of looks like an avocado, was, I don't know, a part for a machine or a car or something. And whoever the company was didn't want the rest of the metal, and they just, you know, dumped it off at the salvage yard, and I was lucky enough to find it. So I don't know what I'm going to make out of this, but it's pretty cool. So I take the raw metal after I fabricated it, and then I'm going to shine it up. So here's the metal that we're going to use for the piece today. So those half circles I talked about, I bend them to get a nice curve to them in the bending machine at Schoolcraft. And then I partially grind it to give this very unique finish. And the finish is almost like a negative pattern that you'd see like in old photography. I really like it. It also has kind of an animal hide feel to it. So I'm going to leave this and preserve this with a clear coat when I'm done with the piece. The other pieces that I bent, you can see that I also grinded these down to give a little texture to the piece and some shine. And then I also pulled out this piece that I had, again, just a piece of scrap metal. I didn't clean this one up completely. I left the rust on it because, again, I think it will create a pop of color in this particular piece. And you can see the raw edge here, which was cut by a plasma cutter. And then I grinded it down to also create a unique pattern, which I think complements the pattern that's created on the half circles. And then, of course, all of my rod was shined up and ready to go. So I think we're ready to start welding. So let's go over here to my welding machine, and I'm going to start with the center. Okay. So this is the outside of the circle that I'll use. And I've got my welder all set up, ready to go. Safety first. And I'm going to lay this out. I think I want this to go. Kind of like that look right there. So this will be the center, and I really like asymmetrical pieces. I find balance through creating positive and negative space in a unique way, even though it's not centered. So that's what I'm going to do on this. Okay, so I'm going to grab more of these half circles. And I'm going to lay this out first. I'm going to light. Now for this demonstration, I'm going to just use a very light tack weld. And I want to be able to maybe move the piece or remove it and maybe move it over. So I'm not going to do any heavy welding on this first piece. And then when I'm done with the whole piece, I'll flip it over and then secure it the way I want it there. I'm not happy with this layout. I think I want this one went up. But what I'm doing is I'm just kind of playing around with how these are flowing together. And I'm liking the end of this piece goes up, the end of this piece goes down, and it creates this center void in the center. I kind of like that. And then, so this would be like a bottom of a cumulus cloud. I don't, maybe it's not cumulus, but those one cloud that back up. And then I'm going to lay out the piece of the well, that circle. I might want to. And I'm going to put 3 on the top, and then I'm going to put 4 on the bottom. Yeah. I don't want this to be perfectly balanced. I want it to be perfectly imbalanced with this. Okay. So I think I'm liking that right now. I'll lay out some, put the helmet on. Max is putting his helmet on too. So hold on 1 second here, okay? And we're going to start with the first round. You know, it's just a really simple tack weld, nothing too heavy. Because again, if I didn't like the placement of this piece, I would want to be able to remove it. So take a little light. I'm going to start this piece on next. And again, I don't want them to be perfectly even. I want them to kind of take some motion and flow. So nothing too linear. I'm just going to play around with this. I like that one. See, what's nice is I'm just doing, I'm going to come in close on this. I'm just doing a little tack weld here. And then when I'm done, I'll grind that down. So you won't see that mark because I'll flip it over and I'll do a heavier weld on the back to secure it to this piece. So this will be nice and fluid. Okay, I have a little larger piece that I kind of want to put in the center here. And I think I want that to be down and up like this. Get a little, yeah, I think like that would be right there. Right. Yeah, I like that. Last piece on this side. Like this. I'm avoiding welding in this area here because I want it to be nice and clean. If I were to weld in this area, I'm going to be able to grind that weld out. It's hard to get in there, so I'm going to keep that clean. That's from experience, right? So I've got the first piece done, and I like that. So now I'm going to do this piece here. And again, the same idea. You'll hold up like this. Use this stuff. One of the reasons I do MIG welding, I mentioned earlier, I'm an intuitive artist. I like to flow. And so MIG, I like to say it's hot glue for metal. So I literally, it's a one-hand weld process, which allows me to are much lined and low. Okay. We'll do the first piece here. I'm going to see if I like this. Yeah, I like it. Okay, I'm going to want this one on top. I'm going to want this one on bottom. So do this piece first. Lean down like that. Let's try that. Mess up for you, show you what some of the trials and tribulations are. But in most cases, I'm the type of artist that whenever I make, even if it's a mistake, I just kind of like it. So I think that's what makes art so much fun for me. Is I don't overjudge. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So that's going to sit like that. It's going to sit like that. Now, I need to connect these two together. So I'm going to grab another piece. And I've already sketched, so I kind of know the order that I want, and I did reverse this a little bit so that it didn't get too boring for you. But I know there will be some surprises because I do have a tendency to change my mind midstream once I get going. So I'm going to spread this out because now I'm going to use this base circle because this is going to be the largest piece along the edge. And this particular piece was donated to me by one of my best clients, Ellen Stone. Thank you, Ellen. And this was powder coated. So I will ground it down where I think I'm going to weld on it. And then this piece will actually have to be painted. So I'll probably paint it like a dark black or a dark navy to offset the other colors. All right. So this is about the distance that I want them. So this will be the center of the piece. So the nice flow is there. So now I'm going to connect them. I have this piece, got a big chunk out of the middle of it. So I'm going to work with that chunk. So I'm going to somehow figure out where that chunk goes. And somehow, hopefully, bring some pieces together. That's kind of cool. I'm going to grab the other piece too, because I want to make sure that this rust is, just a piece of crappy metal, honestly. But I want the sculpture to kind of highlight that rust. I got to make sure that when it's in here, that it doesn't interrupt the flow and it supports the sculpture. I'm going to mess around with this a little bit and place it. And what I'm making sure making sure that I find a that will keep it secure. Another thing that's great about welding is if it breaks, it's easy to fix. Okay, I think I want to do this because the end of this will be welded to the circle and end it. So So that will provide some security. I think I want to hide it. It's so low. Yeah, I won't go to that. Up here. No, where, oh, right here. There we go. Yeah, I like that. There we go. So it's here, and that's going to touch right there. Perfect. Okay, so I'm liking this is coming through. This is flowing through. It's giving it some motion, and everything's good. Max, did you have something you want to say?
Audio, go a little louder.
Oh, talk a little louder. Okay, I will. You're a fan of the well, here we go. You can see I'm going to try to get underneath this now because I don't want to show. These are 1 second welds. So for those of you that are watching, don't think that that's a secure weld. If you want to try welding, you usually need to hold for longer than 1 second. But again, this is just enough for me to decide. All right. I'm gonna lift this up. Oh, see, this wasn't even long enough to tackle. I can do it again.
Why don't you hold that up?
Yeah. All right, so you can see now, actually that's kind of cool on its own.
Yeah, it is.
Now, which will give you an idea for maybe a next sculpture. That's what's great about this process is you never know what you'll love. Okay, so I'm feeling really good about this. You all can see it, right? But it's going to be, and again, but this moon will be able to hang both ways. So horizontally, like clouds going to the center of the moon, or vertically, which might look more like a peacock or something. Okay, so what's next?
Can I interrupt for a quick question?
Yeah, she wants to ask a question.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Cool. You might have already said this. It's a little bit, the audio is a little bit jumbled, so I apologize if you said this already. Someone is wondering how long this usually takes you, this whole process.
Thanks for asking. That's a really good question. It definitely varies. This scrounging for metal. So, you know, my son has showed you all the metal that I collected here, right? This is years and years of collecting metal. A lot of it has to do with how much work I put into it. The bulk of the work, honestly, is in the fabrication process, prepping the metal. The welding, the reason I'm doing the welding demonstration is actually the quickest part of the sculpture. The sketching, the hunting for the metal, the sketching, refining, prepping, fabrication takes, you know, days sometimes. So each piece varies. Sometimes I'll put a piece together in just a couple of hours on a couple of scrap pieces. So, but thanks, that's a really good question. Thanks for asking.
Awesome, thanks.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding more weight to the outside of the circle. Because although I like the center piece, I want to give some weight to the outside. So, and this is where it'll hold it a little better. So that's going to go under. And some of these pieces will be above the art and some will be over because I want to give the piece depth this way too, right? The interpretation of what the moon is. I know I'm not talking loud enough. I'll try to talk a little louder for all you. All right. Let's start welding this together. Okay. under. Okay. Have this over. Again, like I don't want a perfect circle. I like it how it's going in and out of the gold circle. It's giving it a little more energy, which I like. Okay, that's good. All right, we have 7 minutes left. Get going. Okay, then again, this is where I talk about asymmetry. So I'm not going to put these in the center. I'm going to offset this a little bit because it is about creating something that's unique and not something that you would expect. So let's do this one first. And I really like the centerpiece, so I want to make sure this is layered on the top. I'm going to poke this under the piece here. And then I will have something over the inside. So this is the process. Like I said, it's something I do. Because I like it. I don't. Like this, for example, I'm not liking this. Take this out. Here. Let's do this. Yes, I like a smaller circle better. Yes, there we go. I like that. Some interest in this open section. All right, so we're going to go ahead and develop that like that. All right. Again, just a little tack weld to get you going. All right. We have 4 minutes left, so I'm just going to hold this up and show you. This isn't done, but we're getting close. So you can kind of see what it looks like.
Pretty cool.
You got it?
Yeah.
Now, I may or may not add, I had cut these circles out, right? I may or may not add these circles in here somewhere. Not sure whether I'll like them or not. If I do, I might add some fused glass or another pop color. Because like I said, I want to keep this natural. And then this gold piece will be painted dark out. So if I wanted a pop color, it might be cool to add like a piece right here, for example. You know, a smaller piece like this. And then have a nice, pretty piece of fused glass. Just some primary colors, just pop and make the piece a little more contemporary. So I want to thank you for joining me for this demonstration. Again, just to remind you, you can see the full story at fusionofironearth.com. You can find more videos, all of my work. You can find where I'm going to be under galleries and exhibits, where I'm going to be this summer and in the fall. Please like my Facebook page. I just launched a shop a week ago. So if you want to purchase something from me, I have some items up there. This piece will be loaded later. And if you're interested, let me know. I can maybe even customize the color for you. And then, of course, follow me on Instagram, where I try to keep my followers apprised of how I'm doing, what I'm making, what I'm planning, and so forth. So again, I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll try to respond to all of your questions and comments afterwards or directly. You can always direct message me through Messenger, through my Facebook page. And again, thank you to the Guild, and thanks for joining me.